Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is a beautiful, crisp day to unravel the absolute chaos unfolding in our favorite gated community. I always say that the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves, and today's deep dive proves exactly that. Grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get into the messy, heart pounding drama that has us all on the edge of our seats. If you ask me, walking into the lion's den is never a strategy for survival, yet that is exactly what Andre does when he seeks out Heather in her hotel room. He goes in there with the naive intention of having a rational conversation, hoping to somehow negotiate with a woman who has made it her life's mission to torment him. The atmosphere in that room must have been incredibly suffocating. You can almost feel the psychological warfare hanging in the air the moment the door clicks shut behind him. Andre is desperate to put a lid on his past, but he fails to realize that Heather does not want a negotiation. She wants total capitulation. Heather immediately pivots the dynamic. She doesn't want to discuss boundaries or stalker tendencies. Instead, she shifts the encounter toward the intimate, attempting to seduce him right there in the hotel room. She uses their shared history as a weapon, bringing up vivid memories of their time together in London and Europe. She looks him in the eye and insists that he still has feelings for her, gaslighting him into questioning his own reality. Even more cunningly, she points out the glaring truth. He is already hiding a mountain of dark secrets from his wife. She uses his own guilt against him, trying to isolate him from his marriage by making him feel like he belongs in the shadows with her. But Andre stands his ground. In a moment of surprising clarity and backbone, he vehemently rejects her advances. He looks at the woman who holds the keys to his destruction and tells her no. He declares with absolute certainty that he loves Danny and refuses to do anything that would cause her further pain. I have to admit, watching Andre draw a hard line in the sand gave me a brief moment of hope for him. He is desperately trying to be the loyal husband, fighting to protect the fragile piece of his household. However, the tragic irony is that his loyalty is built on a foundation of lies. You cannot protect a house from a storm when the foundation is already crumbling. Let's look at a concrete example to truly understand this dynamic. Think about a time when you or someone you know tried to shield a loved one from bad news, maybe a massive financial mistake, a lost job, or a legal issue. You keep it a secret because you think you are protecting them from the stress. But when the truth inevitably comes out, the betrayal your partner feels isn't just about the lost money or the lost job. It is about the fact that you took away their agency. You robbed them of the choice to fight the battle alongside you. Andre is doing this on a catastrophic scale. He thinks his silence is a shield, but it is actually a ticking time bomb waiting to decimate his marriage. Heather's reaction to this rejection is nothing short of terrifying. A woman with her level of power and ego does not simply accept a no gracefully. The narcissistic injury she suffers in that moment is profound. When she realizes that her seductive tactics have failed and that Andre is truly devoted to Danny, her demeanor flips from alluring to venomous. She becomes furious and aggressively kicks him out of her room. If you ask me, this is the most dangerous version of Heather we have seen yet. A predator denied its prey is unpredictable, and by rejecting her, Andre has just accelerated whatever twisted endgame she has planned. Meanwhile, across town at the nightclub, a different kind of tension is brewing. Vanessa and Danny are sitting together, and the vibe is incredibly heavy. The women are starting to piece the puzzle together, analyzing Andre's increasingly erratic and defensive behavior. Vanessa, who has spent so much time recently burying her head in the sand, is finally starting to ask the right questions. She speculates out loud, wondering if Andre is being blackmailed over a sex tape or if he is hiding a secret affair. It is fascinating to watch Vanessa's intuition finally wake up, recognizing the universal signs of a man who is trapped in a corner. Danny sits there, swirling her drink, absorbing Vanessa's theories. Instead of immediately jumping to her husband's defense, Danny gets introspective. She opens up about her own past, specifically her wild, out of control modeling days in Europe. She admits that she did things she isn't proud of, things that she thought were buried forever. Danny tells Vanessa that she understands how a messy past can suddenly claw its way back to the surface, haunting your present. This is a deeply vulnerable moment for Danny. She is showing a profound level of empathy for Andre, acknowledging that everyone has skeletons in their closet. However, we need to talk about the massive elephant in the room regarding Danny's empathy. Let me give you another specific example of how human psychology works in these situations. Imagine you are sitting with a friend, judging someone else for keeping a massive secret from their spouse, while you yourself are actively hiding a devastating infidelity. The cognitive dissonance is deafening. Danny is currently holding on to the explosive secret of her passionate elevator hookup with Bill. When she talks about the past coming back to haunt you, she isn't just talking about Andre's European secrets. She is subconsciously talking about herself. Her empathy for Andre is heavily colored by her own overwhelming guilt. She knows what it feels like to smile at your spouse while hiding a betrayal. As the women deep dive into their suspicions, Heather suddenly appears at the club, attempting to force her way into their social circle. She approaches their table wearing a mask of friendly innocence and tries to get them to hang out and grab a drink. But Danny and Vanessa are deep in conversation and emotionally exhausted. They brush her off, making it clear they are unavailable to entertain her. And in that exact moment, Heather's carefully constructed facade completely crumbles. The rejection from Andre earlier in the evening, combined with the dismissal from the women, pushes her over the edge. Heather snaps. She throws a violent, unhinged tantrum right there in the club. She loudly complains that everyone around her is driving her crazy, her voice dripping with venom and frustration. Then, in a shocking display of aggression, she grabs a vase and violently shatters it. The sound of the breaking glass echoes the shattering of her innocent persona. This is not the behavior of a quirky new friend. This is the visceral reaction of a deeply unstable, dangerous individual who has lost control of her narrative. Have you ever had that one toxic acquaintance who just couldn't take a hint? The kind of person who escalates a minor social inconvenience into a full-blown aggressive crisis? Think about how that makes you feel in the moment. When someone uses explosive anger to control a room, it is a deliberate act of psychological intimidation. Breaking an object in front of someone is a classic warning sign. It silently screams, "Look at what I can do to this physical object. Imagine what I can do to your life." Heather breaking that vase wasn't a loss of control, it was a threat. Vanessa watches the vase shatter, and you can practically see the blood drain from her face. In that terrifying second, the puzzle pieces lock into place for her. She remembers Joey's desperate, frantic warnings to steer clear of his sister. She remembers how on edge Joey has been since Heather arrived in town. The chilling realization washes over Vanessa. She has unknowingly befriended a monster. The naivete that usually protects Vanessa is gone, replaced by a cold, hard fear. She finally understands that Joey wasn't just being overprotective, he was trying to save her life from a woman capable of immense destruction. The drama reaches its absolute peak when Andre finally returns home. The tension in the house is thick enough to cut with a knife. Danny, fueled by her conversation with Vanessa and her own growing paranoia, decides she can no longer play the waiting game. She confronts Andre directly, looking him dead in the eye and asking him what is tearing him apart. She gives him the ultimate lifeline. She is essentially saying, "Tell me the truth right now, and we will face whatever this is together." It is a moment of pure, raw vulnerability between a husband and a wife. Andre looks at her, and you can see the agonizing war raging behind his eyes. He is suffocating under the weight of his secrets. He desperately wants to unburden himself, to confess the sins of his past and the reality of Heather's blackmail. He stammers, telling Danny that everything he is doing is because he wants to protect her. He is right on the precipice of coming clean, right on the edge of blowing his own life apart to save his marriage. But before the truth can finally spill from his trembling lips, the sharp, piercing sound of his phone chiming shatters the moment. He looks down at the screen and the blood runs cold in his veins. It is a text message, two simple, agonizing words that change the entire trajectory of their lives. TikTok. Let's pause and look at a final example of why this specific threat is so paralyzing. Have you ever been handed a deadline for something that you know will ruin your life if you fail? The feeling of the clock counting down, the relentless marching of time that you cannot stop, no matter how hard you try. That is what TikTok represents. It isn't just a message, it is a psychological torture device. Heather is reminding him that she holds the detonator and his time to comply with her demands is rapidly running out. The sheer, unadulterated terror that washes over Andre's face in that moment is impossible to hide. He looks like a man who has just been handed a death sentence. And Danny, standing right in front of him, sees every ounce of that fear. She is a smart woman, and in that split second, her entire worldview shifts. She realizes that her husband isn't just keeping an embarrassing secret about his bachelor days. He is fighting a desperate, terrifying battle for his life, and they are completely out of time. The episode leaves us breathless, staring at the screen and wondering, what exactly is the deadline? And what catastrophic truth will be unleashed when the clock finally strikes zero?